So our worms are picky eaters, a little bit like a fussy toddler. They have some foods that they absolutely love. They have some foods that they're not that phased about. They'll eat them reasonably happily. They've got some foods that definitely not very into, and then they've got some foods that they'll turn a total tantrum over. So we want to make sure that we are giving them more of the foods that they do really like and less of the foods that they're going to throw a tantrum about. Things like bread, crackers, cake, any kind of floury, sugary thing that will quite easily go moldy and turn bad in your worm farm. Things like pasta, dark breads, grains and things, rice, etc. These are foods which will go off reasonably quickly. Your worms won't be completely put off by them, but they're not ideal. These are things like onions and garlic and dairy and other animal products. So as a rule of thumb, these are foods which are not so good for your worm farm, but they're not necessarily poisonous or very, very bad news. They are more about managing smell and acidity and that kind of thing. So generally don't add too much garlic, not too much onions, not too much dairy, but don't be too concerned if there's a little bit of those in your worm food. These are ones which worms will enjoy but not gobble down. Fruit is quite sugary, that's why they don't like it too much. It also helps to encourage mold in your worm farm. But a little bit of fruit, some sugary things can be great. So that might be leftover apples, bananas, that kind of thing, especially banana skins. One of the things that you might be feeding to your worms a whole lot is tea and coffee. This might be tea bags, it might be coffee grounds that have been used to brew up your caffeine. And these things are really, really good to put into your worm farm, but you need to make sure they go in just the right sort of amount. And this is because these things promote mold growth. So we want to make sure that when we are adding tea and coffee, we do a little bit and we put it in fresh so that it isn't already moldy. Feed your worms lots of fresh veggies and they'll be very, very, very happy for it. This is all of your sort of veggie peelings and food scraps from kitchen preparation. Anything that comes from a veggie is probably very, very good for your worms. So there's some foods that you might feed to your worms that you might not feed to yourself or your friends. This is everything like leaf litter, grass that has been mown, weeds or soft green things that you've taken out of your garden. All of these are really, really great to add to your worms as well. Worms don't actually like eating rotten food, they don't like eating moldy food. So make sure that whatever food that you're putting in there is fresh, hasn't started to grow mold or go off yet, and your worms will be happier for it.